Hey, hi, thanks for joining me. I'm going to make this as brief as possible. Um, Basically, a few years ago, I heard about this magic number, this 8 billion figure, that, once we reach that as a society, as a populace, they're going to perform this thing called a cull, um, which is a very scary sounding thing. And they want to basically reduce the population and the UN agenda behind that. And there's quotes and memes you can look at online about Bill Gates wanting depopulation, Ted Turner wanting depopulation, even Henry Kissinger calling out for depopulation of third world countries. So, is that going to begin at 8 billion? And how far away are we really from 8 billion? Well, so I started the spreadsheet. You see, in a former life, I was a Microsoft Excel expert and authorized instructor. So my formulas, they're going to be pretty spot on. And most of this spreadsheet is formulas and averages based on formulas, so that I can kind of get a target window, an idea of when this magic 8 billion number we're going to hit. Now, back when I started this spreadsheet, it says I started it on November the 3rd, 2016. On that day's entry, there were 7,459,000 people, roughly. We crossed that mark at some point in time during the day. And that's, you take away from the 8 billion, that left approximately 541 million. And according to those depopulation and Agenda 2030 elitists who want the depopulation, that's really what they want the Earth's population to be. It's 500 million. So that's a lot of people to die. That's basically, as of 2016, that would have been everybody on the face of the Earth. So, kind of scared me, really did. Again, I started the spreadsheet to kind of keep track of things, and as you can see, I would daily, go through and put an entry, and then the column next door would do a little calculation and take that number, that 8 billion up there, and subtract it from the day's entry, and give me an idea of the overall population room remaining every day. The shift differential, basically, I just took the information from one day, and subtracted it from the previous day, so I could see if we had an overall population growth or not growth. That looks pretty scary. In fact, it looks like we lost a lot of people back on November 17th, 2016. I don't know what happened then. Maybe there was a war going on. Maybe this was a glitch in the system. Or I typed the number wrong. It's doubtful I typed the number wrong. Or typed it backwards, but maybe it was a correction. So, or maybe, there were a whole lot of people abducted. Maybe that's when the plane disappeared. I'm not quite sure. Now, 33,000 people can't fit on one plane. Sorry, we don't make them that big yet. So there goes that theory. So anyway, as it goes on down, you can kind of see the average per hour I made up with a formula that really, just took growth differential and divided it by 24, so I can get an idea about how many people were being born per hour. And I would take that and basically average out the days remaining. I take the formula over here, that remember this population room remaining, and then divide it by D7, which was that, shift differential growth. And it basically means that if we stayed at that exact population growth, then this is how many days we would have remaining. Of course, it takes, 2 or 3 times. You have to fill in this information 2 or 3 times for it to start to calculate. That's why the very first row doesn't calculate anything and shows these dividend errors. That's okay. We compensated for that and fixed it. Anyway, we're going to create a spreadsheet together just real quick. I'm going to go down here and point at time remaining, click, hold control key down while I click, hold, and drag it over. There's that little plus sign in the spreadsheet, means duplicated it. I'll double click it. 2018 time remaining. Should I call it the Doomsday Spreadsheet? Is that when it's all going to go down? Let's not call it that. Maybe we should call it that. Maybe that'll get your attention like it did mine. But it's interesting to watch the numbers. So here's what we're really going to do. Now this up here always just shows the current date, just because. And let's say since we're starting this fresh, here's another way to put in the current date. It's control and semicolon that puts in the current date. Now I know tomorrow, which is going to be the 8th, 6-8-18, that gives me a couple dates, and if I highlight both of them, use my little auto fill dot, well, it's just going to copy that pattern all the way down as far as whatever was set before it. So you'll notice it took it all the way down, like 400 some odd rows. So it's going to run down, like I said, some 400 rows. So that gives us 400 days to work together on this spreadsheet. But there's some, oops, there we go. Let's undo that. Control Z is a great undo trick. We can delete that. In fact, we can delete the entire column all the way down. That's data from a couple of years ago. Excuse me. Today's data, right now, it's at 7627574. So let's put that in. 7627574. 7627574. Let's just do 000. Because we know we've already passed that anyway. That leaves us a balance of about 372 million people before we hit that number right there. Kind of scary. Now this up here, this little row right up here, and this little division error are there because they don't have anything to look at yet. Once we pop a number in tomorrow, let's say our population grew by, I don't know, 300,000 people. So the number is going to be like 7627874. There you go. That gives us a population growth of about that much. You see how the numbers start to fill in? All of these will start to fill in as we get going. And this will too. I just need maybe one more number in there. And let's try one more number. Let's try another 300. Let's try something different. Let's try a 200,000 person increase, which would make it an even. Oops, I can't type tonight. There we go. Now we're starting to get somewhere. I don't know why these little division errors are showing up. Oh, because of this. Alright, let me change a few things over here. There's a division error right here. It's trying to average numbers that aren't there yet. With the little division errors, it's going to throw a division error into any of my formulas. So let me limit this formula real quick from F6 to F7. Okay, from F6 to F7. The average of that is that, and then that fixes that. Okay, so based on right now, what it's looking at in the bogus data that I've put here, it's suggesting that that date, when we reach that 8 billion number, is either going to be on July 9th in the year 2026. But what I've done is, as we look each day, we can see what we think the date's going to be for that day if we kept this capacity going. And it was 300,000, then 126,000 or so, but it'll change each day. This will give you the average of all of these days. In fact, it'll give you the average. Let's see. We just don't have that many numbers yet. We're going to have a lot as we build them together. And I hope you guys will come back day to day. It's only going to take about 120 seconds to change the formulas to include just the information for the current day. so that it's not giving you this exorbitant average. Um, and it's not giving you incorrect data. So come back, join me, won't you? And we'll see when we hit this magic number. We'll see how close I am with my calculations. And maybe you'll learn a few things about Excel along the way. Hey, I sure appreciate you giving me the time of day. And speaking of that, I hope you have a great day. Take care. Thanks again for stopping by. Bye.